I hope the battle fares well, Captain. More fuel for the fire, eh, Captain? That last load should keep it blazing. The analysis reads as follows. Subject, quasi-space portal spawner. Data, device is a hybrid of different alien technologies including Arilu and Ur Quan elements. Our tests show that this device temporarily creates a weakness in the fabric between hyperspace and a different unidentified dimension. The energy cost of this process is extreme, and since the unit's power supply is self-contained, we cannot estimate how long it will remain functional. Summary: use of this device will permit a starship to make transit to a different dimension. The hazards and benefits of this process are impossible to gauge without field study. The next entry in the analysis is Subject Hyperwave Broadcaster, Umgah design. Data: this unit is capable of generating extremely intense hyperwave transmissions, though it is otherwise similar to our own casters. Summary: this thing would be great for practical jokes. You could scream boo from an orc cloud to scare the pants or whatever off of everyone in the system. If you used it in hyperspace, there's no telling who might hear you and come running. That's the end of our scientist's report. Be careful out there, Captain.
Do not fear. We shall not harm you. Replication status 8 replications. Next replication 85% complete. Estimated replications since departure from point of origin 583 replications. Estimated replications projected 1 year from this date 14,784 replications. Estimated replications projected 5 years from this date 45,786,412 replications. Priority override. New behavior dictated. Must break target into component materials. This is Probe 2418-B on a peaceful mission. Priorities set at point of origin. Behavior follows dictated priorities. Priority override. New behavior dictated. Must break target into component materials.
Hello, visitor. We are the Slylandro. I am content to hover, a Slylandro speaker. Your presence here fills us with excitement. We have gotten so few visitors over these many drawn. We hope you can stay to talk with us for a time. Oh, this is terribly exciting. We will be happy to tell you about ourselves if you would please do the same. You see, we Slylandro have been extremely interested in learning about the galaxy, but our physique makes us incapable of leaving our gas giant home. Therefore, we are totally reliant on our infrequent visitors to keep us informed about events outside this planetary system. And visitors usually only show up every few drawn. We hope that our newly deployed exploration probe fleet will not only gather information for us, but inform other races of our presence here as well. You know, it's funny. We hadn't heard from the outside galaxy in a whole Dnyarri, and then the Melnorme come by and sell us a probe, and just a few hundred rotations later, you show up. Oh, the probes? Right. Well, like we said, just a short time ago, a race called the Melnorme stopped by. They said they had acquired some information revealing our existence, and they wanted to study us if we didn't mind. In fact, the Melnorme said they would pay us for the right to do so. I guess they are biology nuts or something. Anyway, in exchange for our information, they gave us a probe vessel. Sure, if you are interested. In exchange for information about the life on Source, the Melnorme offered to give us a remote exploration probe. It would roam the galaxy gathering information and contacting alien races, and when it had filled its data storage units, it would return here and reveal to us everything it had learned. Our probes do not attack. They have only defensive capabilities. Offensive behavior is not part of the instructions we programmed into the probe. To do so would be reprehensible. Sure. What would you like to know? Sure. It was a difficult task for us, since we'd never done anything like that before. But for the most part, we just adjusted its standard program, which went something like scan for targets as defined in target list. If no current target, then select new target from the current targets list using specified priorities. If current position is at current target, then set current behavior to new behavior based on behavior priority settings. Perform current behavior. Okay, that's the basic program. I said it was simple, and here are the tables used by the program. Target list with associated target priority. Space vessel 5. Transmission source 4. Astronomical anomaly 3. Planet-bearing life signature 2. Raw replication materials 1. Probe behaviors with assigned priorities. Communicate 5. Record data 4. Analyze data 3. Seek replication materials 999. Move to current target 1. That's it. That behavior was hard-coded by the Melnorme. We couldn't mess with it. Essentially, the probe will only fire its weapons if it has been attacked and cannot communicate with the attacker. No, the probe is armed with a battery of missiles. It doesn't use its electrical discharge device in combat. That's impossible! It's inconceivable! The electrical discharge device is used only for breaking down raw replication materials into their component compounds for easy gathering. Okay. It was sent on a 500 rotation mission to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no catalog item 2418, remote self-replicating robot explorer probe, had gone before. Well, we're not hardware people, so we only know the theory. What happens is that while the probe is exploring space, whenever it's not doing something more important, it hunts for asteroids and similar space junk, zaps it into its component parts, absorbs the debris, and when it has enough raw materials stored inside, it manufactures a perfect replica of itself. So even though we only bought one probe, by now there should be hundreds of probes, maybe even thousands. From the Melnorme Traveler Traders, it was catalog item 2418, remote self-replicating robot explorer probe, the economy model. The Melnorme traded it to us for data on the life on source. They said the information was unique and was worth, I don't really understand their units of exchange, something like 10,000 predots or something like that. Fortunately, that was exactly the price of their catalog item 2418, remote self-replicating robot explorer probe. 2 or 300 rotations, I guess. Sure. What would you like to know? Okay. Okay. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah. How could I forget? This is the really neat part. The probe was self-replicating. When it wasn't recording data, it would pulverize rocks and stuff, then suck in the debris. When it had enough raw materials, it would fabricate a duplicate of itself, which could self-replicate too. We expect the first probe to return in a few hundred rotations, and then we should see an increasing number thereafter. Sure. What would you like to know? I'd be glad to. You see, the probe has the capability to seek out raw materials, process the raw materials into component compounds, collect the compounds, and then, when it has a sufficient supply, it can build a duplicate of itself. We decided that since we had only one probe, we should change the replication priority and crank it up so that there would be more probes sooner. Well, the factory setting was 2, in between movement at 1 and analyze data at 3. I told Joyce Lifting to set it a bit higher. Let me ask him what he set it to. Oh, my, that was a bit extreme, wasn't it? Joyce Lifting told me he changed it to 999, the highest setting on the dial. I'm pretty sure the way it works is that every time a behavior is completed or interrupted, the program selects a new behavior based on the defined behavior target priorities and what kind of target is currently selected. I think a really high priority would cause a probe to focus its attention on that behavior. No, it cannot. It is not programmed for hostile behavior. What is your reasoning? Spaceships are the probe's highest priority because we want more than anything to make friendly contact with alien races. The probe seeks raw materials and processes them in preparation for replication. The answer is simple. It would spend more of its time seeking raw materials for its replication process. So what? I don't see what you are getting at, but I'll play along with you. Like I said, alien ships are the top priority target. Once a probe scanned a ship, it would instantly move toward it. Then, when it got to the ship, it would initiate communication automatically. When communications were terminated, a new behavior would be selected and... a new behavior would be selected. And since the replication setting was set to maximum, the probe wouldn't get time to pick a new target. It would use the current target, the ship, for raw replication materials. It would process the ship, break it into component compounds with electrical discharges. Oh no! What have we done? Traveler, you must tell us what we can do! How can we stop the probes from destroying all life in the galaxy? No, not Catalog Item 2418, Remote Self-Replicating Robot Explorer Probe. The model with the recall transmitter was Catalog Item 2419, and the Melnorme said it was out of stock. Why yes, there is! You're a genius, Traveler! Why didn't we remember that? Oh, there's a problem though. How are we going to transmit the code? Well, while we ponder that problem, at least we can give you the code sequence. That way, if you run into a probe, you can destroy it without getting shot at. Years? Oh, you mean drawn. Well, let's see. There was the Melnorme just a few rotations back. Then we go all the way back over 3 drawn ago to the Ur Quan and the other milieu guys. The Yuli and the Draw, I think. Let me remember. That was a long, long time ago. I was only a nymph then. Oh yes, that's it. The Sentient Milieu was a cooperative association of sentient alien species. The Yuli, the Draw, the Taelo, the Melnorme, the Faz, and the Ur Quan, who lived across a wide section of the galaxy. They talked with us fairly frequently for almost half a drawn. Then suddenly, the visit stopped, and we haven't heard from them since. Yes, there was another race. a highly sophisticated species of shaggy giants who made repeated trips to our world over a period of several Dron. They even installed a broadcasting satellite in orbit around our world, which let us talk with them whenever we wanted. They were called I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. It was a long, long time ago. I wish I knew more of the information you seek, traveler. But we last saw the shaggy ones just over 39 Dron ago, and very little from that era has remained intact in our history chants. Hold on a minute. Let me consult with associates Joyce Lifting and Solon Plummet. Joyce Lifting, who has a better memory than I, recalls that the shaggy ones were described as being worried. They were always hurrying from place to place, seeking knowledge as though they were in a desperate search for some important secret, some answer to a question that they never shared with us. Solon Plummet remembers that the last time the shaggy ones visited our world, they came aboard a great circular starship, one even larger than your own. They had discovered their answer and were leaving to go somewhere, and they didn't tell us exactly where somewhere was. No, I have told you. One moment, Joyce Lifting transmits. Joyce Lifting has remembered something else, though it does not relate to the shaggy one's question, answer, or departure destination. What my associate communicates is the description of a set of 10 worlds, unlike all others. The shaggy ones either discovered these planets, or, this is garbled, assembled them? We were told the planets were, again this is confusing, organized in some pattern which in some way alluded to the shaggy one's ultimate fate. One of the worlds was described as orbiting one of a pair of blue stars not far from here. Another of these worlds circled a large white sun. That is all we can remember. The Dron is our primary unit of time. It lasts for an interval equivalent to 4 million rotations of our planet. A Dron is subdivided into 2,000 Dronasa. Now please, our turn. Will you tell us about yourselves? Yes, that seems to be the pattern. Just about everyone who comes by here says they developed on a world a lot like that. As far as we know, we're the only sentient species who's ever evolved in the atmosphere of a gas giant. Of course, from what we know, most travelers like yourselves don't have much interest in gas giants, so maybe there are others like us Slylandro out there somewhere. That must be great, to leave your planet and roam the stars. You don't know how monotonous living on a gas giant for 3 or 4 Dron can be. Clouds, clouds, clouds. Wind, lightning, clouds, clouds, clouds. That's it. We know a lot about clouds. If you've got any cloud questions, ask us. We have over 800 different symbolic references just to describe them. Most of the time, when we aren't eating, we hover around and talk about what the clouds look like. Of course, the only things we know about are clouds, food, and other Slylandro. So generally, that's what we think the clouds look like. The Ur Quan? The long brownish guys from the milieu with all the eyes and arms? They used to come visit us regularly about 3 Drons ago. They told us about all the interesting things they found from their scouting missions. They were really nice. Why do you fight with them? But the Ur Quan were such good guys. They had lots of interesting things to tell us about, and they never got impatient with our questions. Well, I guess a lot can happen to a species in 3 Dron, like turning green and evil. Oh, then you should go check out a planet orbiting a blue star not too far from here. I think there is another blue star right next to it. We can't describe exactly where it is, but the people who told us about it, the Ur Quan I think, said that it was one of the rarest worlds in space, and that as far as they knew, there were only 10 of these planets in this part of the galaxy. Okay, but please, Can we talk about you some more later? We are the Slylandro, a race of kind, curious, gas-bagged people. Certainly, provided you share with us similar information. What would you like to know? Our world, which we call Source, has been home to our species for many thousands of Dron. We evolved from simpler, unimodular beings who thrive in atmospheric convection cells. At first, we were little more than mindless consumers who glided at the edge of wind walls, straining the air for small animalcules. But even then, we were social creatures who invented language so that we could better cooperate when herding food into dense concentrations. There are many hundreds of species here in Source, producers, consumers, hunters, and parasites, but so far, we are the only species here to achieve intelligence. Our planet, which we call Source, has no solid surface as yours likely does. Our world is the 500-kilometer band of atmosphere in which we can survive. Below this are the depths, a dark, hostile region, which grows increasingly darker and more hostile the farther one goes. A typical feat of courage for Slylandro juveniles is to sink far enough into the depths so that the juvenile's gas bag is almost ruptured by the pressure. The tissue scars left by the trip last many rotations and are thought to attract comely mates. Above our world is void. When we travel up too far into void, we grow giddy and behave inappropriately. We have an egalitarian society here. All are equal. Of course, that doesn't stop some people from being stupid fools or jerks. But on a world as huge as Source, where there are no barriers to restrict your travel, if someone is bothering you, you simply go somewhere else. As you might have guessed, we have no physical technology. In our long history, several of our people have tried to work with objects, constructing weapons and other tools from the carcasses of dead beasts. But eventually, whatever it was they were building got too heavy and dragged them down to the depths. Since we possess no technology, we have no permanent way to record the passing of events. Instead, we use the history chants, long songs whose rhythms and patterns help prevent the introduction of error into the record. When the Shaggy Ones first arrived over 41 Drons ago, we had no words for aliens or ships, for stars or planets. Our skies are an opaque swirl of colors. We knew nothing of the universe outside Source. The Shaggy Ones taught us most of the new words, and after they departed, we remembered them for the many long drawn, until ships from the sentient milieu arrived. My pleasure. Now let's talk about you and your peoples. Oh my! I forgot! You creatures see in the visual range, and can see we can't see them. What I mean to say is, they are, we use them when the male and the female, well look, I'd rather if you didn't ask about them, okay? Especially not in front of Soul and Plummet. She's shy. Goodbye, human fluid sac.
What do you want? I am a peaceful creature, a friendly alien life form. The Ur Quan called us talking pets. Until recently, I was employed on a dreadnought starship as a translator. Then, after the ship suffered severe damage from combat, we crashed at Alpha Pavonis. Miraculously, I survived. I was rescued by an Arilu Lollylay exploration vessel. The Arilu, they couldn't heal my most severe injury, so they brought me to the Umgah, who possess superior bioengineering skills. Oh, you know about that, do you? Oh, well, I guess that means I'll have to kill you now. I can't permit you to reveal my transformation. Ur Quan might find out, and then my plans for revenge will be ruined. Well, I tried to spare your life, Captain, but you were just too curious. So now, seek death at the hands of your enemy. I cannot compel you. Your mind is closed to me. How can this be? I am forced to resort to more primitive measures. Umgah Commander, summon your 10 combat ships and attack this intruder instantly. Hi there, friendly Starship Captain. You'll never believe this, but somehow the injuries I suffered when the Ur Quan crashed triggered some kind of a personality transformation. I became evil and spiteful, cruel and nasty, whimsically unpleasant. You may have also noticed I gained some kind of temporary psychic powers. Well, I just want to let you know I'm cured, Captain. I don't know exactly how, but when you were fighting those Umgah ships, a chunk of the semen fell down on my head and gave me quite a whack. Ouch, oochie, it still hurts. When I awoke, the universe had ceased to be the dark and hostile place I had previously thought it to be. Instead, I was overwhelmed, yes, even awed by the beauty and perfection of it all. I also discovered that I had completely lost those wicked mental powers and can now look forward to a new life filled with happiness, butterflies, and goodwill for all. Your job is done, Captain. You have saved me. Now you can safely remove your psychic protection device and leave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, why are you looking at me like that, Captain? Don't you believe me? You question my word? Okay, so I was lying. Big deal. So what? Boy, are you a pain. Do you know that? What do you want from me? My life? Oh, you do? Well, as an alternative, let me make this little suggestion. If you don't kill me, I'll help you do whatever you wish. Is it a deal, Captain? I will gladly tell you my story, Captain. Gladly. I was indeed a talking pet aboard an Ur Quan dreadnought. Those years are like a forgotten dream to me. Because I wasn't sentient, I was a dumb beast, an unthinking slave to the heinous Ur Quan. Then there was a great battle. The ship was hit, severely damaged. Slaves running down the corridors, commands, counter-commands. Then there was a scream atmosphere outside the hull. There was a big explosion of light and thunder. We hit the surface of a planet, I'm pretty sure. Next thing I can remember was the face of the creature you called the Aribu. I was in great pain. But the creature was kind. It did what it could for me by applying its own medicines to my alien form. I was transported off planet. I remember an all-pervading green light. Then we were at the homeworld of the Aribu. Again, Captain, forgive me if I'm not more clear, but I wasn't intelligent yet. Give me a chance. I presume my injuries were too severe for the Aribu to repair. Or perhaps I reacted badly to their medicines or something, because the next thing I remember was being moved back into a ship. Things grow dim. My next memory is being on board an Umgah starship. Wet flesh throbbing all around me, Umgah laughing as they worked on my body. It was kind of unnerving. Suddenly, like the explosion of a bomb, real thought flooded my brain. I don't know how or why, but the Umgah had discovered that my brain could be easily changed, improved, to give me true intelligence. What they didn't realize is it also brought back a flood of memories. Memories of my species' ancient past. From before the time the Ur Quan castrated our thinking minds and transformed my people into crude beasts. I'm the only intelligent Dnyarri left in this galaxy, Captain. Now you understand my lust for vengeance? I get the basic idea. You want to overthrow the Ur Quan. Bravo! Good idea! Way to go! I, too, wish to see the Ur Quan beaten, humiliated, destroyed, and I alone possess the unique ability that will help you achieve your goal. I can use my psychic powers to temporarily distract the Ur Quan, confuse them for a few seconds. Presumably, you will use this moment to strike a lethal blow against the Ur Quan. Such a plan cannot fail, Captain. We must see to that. It's all true, Captain. Every word. Now listen, and I shall tell you why the Ur Quan did this to us. It was over 20,000 of your years ago, Captain, when an Ur Quan slave raider landed on the surface of my world and began capturing my people, killing those that would not submit. How can I know this, you ask? These memories are embedded deep in my genetic structure. They cannot be forgotten. How we fought the Ur Quan. Even then, they had a hierarchy of combat thralls, though then they called themselves by the absurd name, the Sentient Milieu. Ha! They were nothing more than thugs, especially those hideous Ta'alo. Those evil rock-like creatures were the worst of all. For fun, they'd take one of our children and then roll over it again and again. Oh, the war against the Ur Quan and their milieu lasted decades. Millions of our people died. But with the forces of truth and justice at our side, we were prevailing. Then, the Tadalo made their fateful discovery. A shield against our only weapon, our weak psychic powers. With that shield, they were unstoppable. We had lost. But the Ur Quan, they were not satisfied merely with our defeat. Our slavery, they wanted more. They wanted to punish us for our insolence in fighting back against them. So they devised the sickest, most cruel and perverse punishment ever imagined. They invaded our very genetic structure, hacked out enough of our minds to lobotomize us for all eternity. And then we were made their closest servants, their talking pets. This was our punishment. No tricks, Captain. No tricks. I fear you cruelly misjudge me. I'm on your side now. Together, we will make a great team, Captain. This day, this moment, shall go down forever in the history of our galaxy. I am coming aboard your ship now. I will make a nest in the pressurized section of your ship's hold. When you wish to talk with me, I will be there.
Hail, hail, human earthling. Great hero has returned. Oh, my lip is quivering just looking at him on monitor. What smile, what sparkling eyes, what nice bony structure. He one who has saved us from mental compulsion of evil talking pet. Hail, 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 oh great hero, we grateful speak to you, how we reward. Hail, 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 oh you right, we do hope. We must reward, but what do we have to give? Protoplasm? No, not easily appreciated. Vigorous esters? No, too common. Habit, genetic modification, yes, it's perfect gift. Listen, human earthling, we add some extra eyes, a few tentacles, other organs of whatever size and shape you desire. What? You not want more organs? You sure? How strange, how sad. This was best gift. We Umgah have nothing but vast supply of biological skills and data. Huh? What do you say? You want biological data? Just plain, raw, biological data? What you do with it? Oh well, you hear me. Whatever you want, you get. Ah, well, Ari Nalile, who kind of our neighbors, gave us a talking pet, hoping we could heal it more severe injuries, which we did. While we working on it, we do routine brain structure scan and discover that creature have extremely sophisticated set of neural pathways, even more complex than own. Further analysis show that with minor genetic manipulations, talking pet intelligence greatly expanded, perhaps even to sentience. Oh, little did know what monster we created. Only a few hours after injected nanots with modification program, creature wakes up. Almost immediately took control of hospital, then city, then whole planet. We try to resist, but creature, even in drug weakened state, too strong. From that day on, we just mindless slaves who live only serve talking pet and big plan. What big plan? Oh, we never quite sure about details of Big Plan, except it involved getting revenge, and mean lots of revenge, against Ur Quan Masters. We don't know, but whatever it was, must have been pretty bad, because talking pet mad. Real mad. How mad, you ask? Blowing up planets and eating juveniles, man. That's how he's mad. We got the impression Ur Quan did something awful to Talking Pet. Or maybe even whole species. Whatever it was worse than slavery. Maybe even worse than death. Secrets? You want secrets? Our secrets? Oh, you made a fatal mistake, human! Good joke, huh? Scared you? Sure, we'll tell our secrets. Now let me see. What are secrets? Oh, yes. Remember, it's about mycons. You see, mycons only other race we know of that have same kind of biotechnical skills as Umgah. But amazing thing, they do all with their own bodies. Don't need tools. They just think. Genetic modification, and it happened. We found that pretty hard to understand. So, when nobody's looking, we clonk one on head, bring it back here to home world, and slice it up for detailed study. Those guys not product of any natural evolutionary process. They constructs. Some kind of multi-purpose biological tool. We don't know who made them or for what purpose, but they way beyond anything we ever heard of. We not figure out much before kitchen samples all gross. So, guess that's pretty much all of this secret. Oh, do us a favor. Please not tell anybody about conking mycon. It's kind of against Ur Quan laws and not want to get mycon mad at us. You know, great hero, I give you this funny feeling. Would like to know what feeling is? Oh good, I tell you. My feeling that great hero stuff, well, boring, not funny at all. You only say hail, hail, hail so many times before it starts to lose appeal. So, instituting slight deviations in course of our relationship. Specifically, instead of being dull and lifeless great hero, you now glamorous and exciting great enemy! Oh, we give you some of our drone ships to make even more interesting. Yes, it's going to be lots more fun. Here, let me show you. Hello, human Earthlings. safely. Although we appreciate your efforts on our behalf, we really hate eternal gratitude stuff. So we've decided to kill you now. We're pretty crazy blobbies, no?
Welcome back, Captain. You are our favorite customer. Now, what can we do for you today? What would you like to sell, Captain? The 500 units of biological data we downloaded from your ship earn you 1,000 credits. What would you like to sell, Captain? Your ship's log indicates that you discovered the whereabouts of one of the rainbow worlds, which so fascinate us. In exchange, we will give you 500 credits. What trade items would you like to buy today? How much fuel do you wish to purchase? Fuel transferred to your vessel. The technology we are now offering includes details on how to develop Shiva furnace modules, which generate energy for your combat batteries twice as fast as your standard dynamos. I am certain you will appreciate this new module, Captain. With it, you should be able to destroy and devastate twice as fast as before. Commander, that is the limit of the new technology we can offer you. If I may say so, you have been an excellent customer. Thank you. As you know, in our many centuries of star trading, we Melnorme have come to learn much about what happens in our galaxy, both now and in the ancient past. We have also kept records on the diverse alien races in your region space. We will share this crucial knowledge with you for a fee of 75 credits per informative fact. No refunds. Almost 25,000 of your years ago, there existed near this region of space an association of star-faring races called the Sentient Milieu. This group formed over several thousand years to mutually enrich their respective cultures, to provide a safe creche for emerging sentient species, and to afford themselves a degree of protection from external hostilities via military alliance. Of the 7 most active milieu members, the most famous race, indeed, you know them well, Captain, were the Ur Quan. The Ur Quan evolved on a harsh planet, orbiting a star outside this region of space. They were solitary predators, like your praying mantis, Captain, or polar bear, who had a very limited set of social behaviors, most of which dealt with sex. Since they had to compete for survival against many physically superior species, the Ur Quan evolved intelligence and tool use in much the same way as your own species. The Ur Quan also learned to master their fierce territoriality, to build a cooperative planetary culture. When the Ur Quan were discovered by the Taelo, they had just begun exploring their solar system in crude atomic vehicles. Although the Ur Quan attacked what they thought to be an invader, the Taelo were patient. They explained the purpose of the sentient milieu and offered the Ur Quan membership. The Ur Quan recognized the benefits that such a system provided, and once more conquered the hunting beast within themselves, to become cooperative, productive members of the milieu. This lasted for several thousands of years. Just over 20,000 years ago, when your ancestors were learning to chart the course of the moon and stars on animal horns, the sentient milieu spanned 500 light years and included the membership of 100 worlds. Like all other star travelers, they had discovered ruins and relics of a far more ancient culture, which your species calls the Precursors. Explorers from many species spent their lives trying to piece together this ancient mystery. But of all races, the Ur Quan were the most bold adventurers. Their scouts, flying single ships, penetrated far into uncharted space and landed a million worlds. On one such mission, a young Ur Quan made planetfall on a small, light-bearing alien world to identify some anomalous energy readings, occasionally a sign of precursor installations. Instead, the Ur Quan found a small, hideous creature, a Dnyarri. Before the scout was able to defend itself, the Dnyarri creature took control of the Ur Quan's mind and commanded the scout to place the Dnyarri aboard the Ur Quan's ship, along with hundreds of its evil brood. Then, the Ur Quan returned to the heart of the milieu, landing on its capital planet. Within hours, every resident of the planet was a Dnyarri slave. Within a month, Dnyarri compelled starships and spread the evil, psychic creatures across the entire milieu. When the Dnyarri took control over the milieu, one race fought back, the Ta'elo. These slow, quiet creatures were silicon-based life forms, but bore little resemblance to the modern Genjutsu. Ta'elo were natural immunes to the Dnyarri's psychic compulsion. They were unaffected by the creature's power, and the Dnyarri would not permit anyone to exist outside their control. So they ordered the remaining races of the milieu to attack and destroy the Ta'elo home planet. This planet was one of the few milieu worlds located in this region of space. I believe you call their star Delta Vulpeculae. Their home was a moon revolving about the second planet. I'm sad to say that the Ta'elo were indeed eliminated. However, at the time of their devastation, they had completed a device which they thought would give other races psychic immunity like their own. What happened to this device, this shield? It's hard to say. Maybe it was destroyed in the attack on their homeworld. Maybe not. In the Dnyarri's new empire, the Ur Quan were the favored slaves. This is probably because the Ur Quan were the most psychically sensitive, the most easily compelled. As the centuries of Dnyarri dominance passed, what was once the sentient milieu deteriorated and degenerated into a great galactic gulag. Alien races which did not serve with the efficiency and speed demanded by the Dnyarri were ruthlessly burned from the faces of their worlds. The agents of this genocide were inevitably the Dnyarri's favored pet, the Ur Quan. After almost 2,500 years of unrelenting Dnyarri control, there were only 4 living member races of the once great sentient milieu. By this point, the Dnyarri had used genetic manipulation to split the Ur Quan into 2 subspecies. The green Ur Quan, scientists, technicians, and administrators who were responsible for maintaining the limited infrastructure of the Dnyarri civilization, and the black Ur Quan, who filled the ranks of basic laborer and combat soldier. Then, a chance discovery by an Ur Quan named Zah led to the violent overthrow of the Dnyarri slave empire. The Ur Quan named Zah was a green, a researcher specializing in repairing the mental damage inflicted by long-term exposure to the Dnyarri's psychic compulsion. By this point in history, the Dnyarri had grown lax in their dominance, and on occasion accidentally permitted their slaves moments of self-direction. Zah was able to use those few scattered minutes to compose a theory. From its observations, Zah realized that when a slave died, the Dnyarri disconnected from the slave's mind, lest it too be dragged down to death. Further, the Ur Quan scientist uncovered the fact that when a slave underwent great pain, the Dnyarri temporarily disconnected, but that the degree of pain had to be extreme, nearly lethal. Zah chose its moment carefully. It waited until it was near an open transmission unit. Then, in a short moment of mental freedom, the Ur Quan injected itself with a dose of acidic poison, sending incredible waves of pain through its long body. In the few moments before its death, Zah was able to wrest control of the transmitter to send word of its discovery across the planet and into space as well. Before the Dnyarri knew what was happening, Ur Quan everywhere were hacking at their own bodies with chunks of glass, burning themselves horribly, doing anything that would give them the few seconds of freedom necessary to find the nearest Dnyarri and crush the bleeding creature. As they gained longer and longer periods of control, the Ur Quan developed new tools and weapons to destroy their evil masters. The most gruesome of these devices was the excruciator, a mechanism which was inserted directly into the brain and generated a constant stream of agony. The Dnyarri could not bring themselves to make the necessary mental connection with these tortured Ur Quan. They were slaughtered by the thousands. The Ur Quan slave revolt was won. When the last Ur Quan was free of psychic compulsion, when the last free Dnyarri was dead, the combined might of the Ur Quan starfleets met in orbit above the Dnyarri homeworld. They had come together to make two important decisions. First, how to punish the few frightened Dnyarri left below on the planet's surface. Second, how to ensure that never again would the Ur Quan be made slaves. The first decision was made swiftly. The Dnyarri would not be allowed to die. It was too kind a fate. Instead, the creatures would be genetically modified into sub-sentience. They would become dumb animals. These low creatures would be further debased by serving the Ur Quan for all eternity in the most degrading way the Ur Quan could imagine, acting as translators, making physical contact with other species, whom the Ur Quan now considered grossly inferior to themselves and revolting. The second decision, how to ensure their freedom permanently, caused great turmoil. Following the successful Ur Quan slave revolt, the Ur Quan met to decide how to ensure their freedom. The Green Ur Quan, who called themselves the Khazar in honor of the Ur Quan who triggered the revolt, wished to establish the Path of Now and Forever, which required that all other sentient species must become slaves of the Ur Quan, or be forever imprisoned beneath an impenetrable force shield. Leading the opposition to this plan was Korra, a charismatic fleet officer. Korra proposed a simpler alternative, the Eternal Doctrine. Simply put, the scheme called for the systematic eradication of all sentient life in the universe, aside from the Ur Quan. Captain, if these positions seem to you extreme or unwarranted, you must remember that the Ur Quan had been unwilling slaves for millennia, and that each of them had to remain in agony for years in order to defeat the Dnyarri. The followers of Khazar and Korra were all on the brink of madness, but neither side would submit, and so they fought a bloody civil war. This is the last historical item we have for sale. The civil war between the Green Ur Quan, the followers of Khazar, and their opponents, the death-dealing Korra, lasted for decades. It is likely that they would have annihilated each other, were it not for a chance discovery by Khazar, a precursor battleship. The vessel was huge, many times the size of the Ur Quan's vessels. The precursor ship sliced through the Korra forces in days. The Korra were defeated. However, in their victory, the Khazar were humble. They realized that there was a chance, that they were wrong, and the Korra were right. Instead of destroying the Korra, the Khazar let them go, directing them to make their way through the stars, traveling against the spin of the galaxy. The Khazar would travel in the opposite direction, and when the two Ur Quan forces met, they would fight again in ritual combat, with the precursor battleship given to the winner. Captain, this is happening here and now. The Khazar, the Ur Quan who enslaved Earth, are fighting their ritual battle against the Korra in a large area centered near the Crater's constellation. If the Korra win this battle, Captain, the Khazar will stand aside and let them kill us all. We believe it is your destiny to prevent this from happening. The Zakfatik are a friendly co-op of 3 alien species, all native to the same world. They are presently suffering severe collateral damage from the ritual combat between the Ur Quan and the Korra. While this is unfortunate for the Zakfatik, they have been forced to abandon many of their worlds. This close proximity to the Inter-Ur Quan War will give them insights into the conflict, which will be of great use to you. In addition, The Zakvatik met the Chenjesu early on in the war, and are eager to make allies who can protect them from their enemies. In case you are interested, the Zakvatik homeworld is at coordinates 400.0 by 543.7, Planet 1. The Ur are presently attacking the Pecanque in the Lakeli and Kruger constellations. These beings have slavish devotion to their dark gods Dogar and Kazan, which in the past few years has been used against them by the Umgah. If you need to manipulate the Ur, we suggest you discover the Umgah's technique and duplicate it. The Pecanque are a mystical offshoot of the Yehat species, who left their bird brothers long ago to found a peaceful enclave in the Kruger and Geitless stars. At the present time, the Pecanque are defending themselves against the Urat, who have been commanded to attack the happy birds by Dogar and Kazan. The Pecanque may be unwilling to make a formal alliance with you, but we have confidence that if you explain yourself honestly, they will help your efforts against the Ur Quan. The creatures presently fighting the Ur Quan are called the Korah. They are an Ur Quan subspecies who split off from the main species many thousands of years ago. Their present fight is a ritual reenacting of a major difference of opinion between two rival Ur Quan leaders after the Ur Quan overwhelmed their slave masters, the Dnyarri. The Korah are immune to reason, having long ago lost the ability to see their situation objectively. They live in a self-maintained paradox. To ensure their safety and security, the Korah fight an endless battle against all other sentient species. I must warn you about some very bad people. Is this worth so many credits? You ask yourself. I assure you it is. The creatures are called the Druge, and they are a callous and evil race. They care for nothing but profit and personal gain through unfair mercantile exchanges. Why are you looking at me like that, Captain? It is not appropriate. As I was saying, these wicked creatures will try to sell you commodities at unreasonably low prices. Boy, they almost give away fuel. Do not fall for their tricks. There are hidden costs, secret tariffs, so that you may avoid them. I will tell you that their main trade world is Zeta Persei 1. Why are you smiling, Captain? The Pervixies race evolved on the planet Arcturus 1. They lived there in a relatively benevolent manner until the Korah came and destroyed them during the course of 2 or 3 unfortunate days. The Druge were largely responsible for the Korah finding the Pervixies. You see, The Burdick Seas were in long-distance, hyperwave contact with a race known simply as the Keg. For decades, the Keg and the Burdick Seas traded much valuable information until the Keg came under attack by an invading race who you may know as the Korra. The Geg warned the Burdick Seas that the Korra located races by their hyperwave transmissions and that they had already discovered the radiations from the Druge. When the Burdick Seas were kind enough to warn the Druge that a hostile alien race was homing in on their hyperwave radiations, the Druge shut down all their transmitters and erected a powerful hyperwave beacon on the surface of the Burdick Seas moon. The Korra changed course, attacked the poor Burdick Seas, and sadly destroyed them all. The Fradash are an arrogant, stubborn, and thick-skinned species who reside in the Draconis and Apodus star systems. They have little or no respect for anything but force, which they admire greatly. To make the Fradash your friends, you should consider killing most, but not all of them. In addition, they guard some kind of sacred relic at the star system Zeta Draconis, though we do not know the true nature of this artifact. The Fradash homeworld is at Delta Draconis. After the war, the Chengesku and the Melnorme chose to be slave-shielded on Chengesu's homeworld at Procyon. We suspect that they are melding their two species to form some kind of new hybrid race, a race which may well be powerful enough to destroy the Ur Quan single-handedly. However, by our calculations, this process will take many decades, if not centuries. Should you wish to talk to them, we recommend you invest in a hyperwave broadcasting system, which is powerful enough to penetrate the shield around their world. What else would you like to buy? It has been a pleasure dealing with you, Captain. We look forward to your next visit.
I hope the battle fares well, Captain. Keep it coming, Captain. Bring back lots of minerals, Captain.